Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back. In this video we're going to be having a look at Dead by Daylight, and this is going to be a absolute beginner's guide to playing as the killer in this game. Not as the survivor. I don't really like to play as the survivor personally. I just like to play as the killer. Not super experienced as a survivor, so I don't really feel comfortable giving a guide on that, but as the killer I'm pretty up to date with the basics, and I hope I can help you see what it's about and how we can play it. So this is a 4v1 game. It's PvP, player versus player, and that 4v1 is one killer against four survivors, as we see in the menu here. And there are a lot of different killers to play as, all with their own special, let's say, powers or weapons. And there are also a bunch of different survivors as well. Each that the survivors don't actually have powers, but they do come with, let's say, special perks that allow them to do different things in different ways, but which can also be unlocked to be used with other characters anyway. So let's just hop into this is the main menu here. If we go into play as the killer, and what I'll do is I'll just go through the basic customization and inventory management that we have here, and then we'll jump into a game just to demonstrate, how it works, what we do, and how we think about the game when we play it. So on the left here we have the killers, and these are the different killers we have available. It tells us if we have unlocked them, what level they are. Pretty simple. In the loadout screen here, this is where we get the kind of, let's say, the meat of the character we are playing as. And so the character I'm going to play as here is called the Death Slinger. And his power is a harpoon gun, essentially. You shoot it at someone, it's attached to a chain, and you can reel them in and then hit them. That's pretty much it. And so every killer has their own special power, whether it's a harpoon gun or some kinds of traps or a chainsaw, or maybe they can throw axes. There are a lot of different killers with different abilities. And so every killer has their power, but they also have add-ons, and they can bring two add-ons per match, and they have a whole bunch of add-ons that are unique to that character. So all of the inventory items we can see here are unique to the Death Slinger only. They do all kinds of different things that affect his power and how it works. Some of them more radical than others. Some of them just give you some simple efficiency increases. For example, this one here, this one just increases the reeling speed, so how fast I can reel them in. And this one increases the spear gun reload speed, but only slightly. These are common add-ons. All of the add-ons have different rarities, and the different rarities also then affect, how potent they are and how much effect they have, depending on what they do. So we have a whole bunch, and we unlock these through the blood web, which I am going to go to in just a sec. But before that, I'll just explain the offerings, which we can see here. This essentially is a one-time modification to the match that you're going to play. And that can take the form of affecting which map you're going to play on, to affecting how many points you can get in a specific category, specifically giving you more points, or other things like that. You don't really have a super large effect, just something to mix it up a little. And finally we have perks, and each character can have 4 perks, or can have 4 perks once they reach level 15. At level 1 only 1 perk is unlocked, and you unlock the next perks at level 5, 10 and 15. So once you reach level 15 you can use 4 perks, and the perks, there are a lot of them. The perks do all kinds of different things. They can really affect the gameplay in some ways. Some affect the gameplay more than others. in which case then you see some YouTubers making tier lists of the really strong perks, or what they think are the strongest perks. I like watching Oddstarver for that. I think he's a nice guy to watch for these kinds of things. I recommend having a look at him. But if we just have a quick look at the perks I have equipped here, this is a good way to have a look at what kind of perks we would want to choose and why, and how they affect the game. So the one I have on the right here is called Sloppy Butcher, and this is just a rare perk. And essentially that means that any killer can have this perk or can buy this perk. And we buy all of our add-ons, our offerings, and our perks from something called the Blood Web. So if we jump over to the Blood Web quickly, this is essentially how you level up each character. And the Blood Web doesn't look this big when you are level 1. It consists only of something like 5 nodes when you're level 1. As you level up, it gets bigger and bigger. And you level up essentially by buying enough of these things on the Blood Web such that it is then completed, and then it's essentially refreshed, and you get a whole new randomly generated Blood Web filled with randomized add-ons, offerings, and perks again. So every time you fill it and refresh it, your character then goes up a level. So I'm playing as the Death Slinger, who is level 30, which means I have filled in and refreshed these blood webs 30 times. And this is the 30th one. And so I bought the perk A Nurse's Calling on the blood web right here. This is one that I actually have equipped here. So this is how we get the perks. So when you get your character first at level 1, you only have access to the 3 character specific perks. Every character has 3 perks unique to them, and that's all you'll have available at the start. As you level up, you'll gain access to other general perks that all characters can access, and once you reach level 30, 35, and 40, your character specific perks can then be unlocked for other characters to unlock. What I mean by that is the perk specific to this killer, for example, once I unlock their teachable version, once I play other killers and I start buying things on their blood web, there is a chance that this character's perks will be available to buy on other characters' blood webs. So this is how we can get a nice kind of customization and mix and matching going on. And if you want to play at a kind of, let's say, a high level, I would say it's something you kind of need to consider doing, because there are a lot of good perks out there. Some character specific perks are much better than others. So you can do a little bit of research as to which ones are good or which ones do something that you would like to take advantage of. So the one that I got, which is a quite popular one, I think, is called A Nurse's Calling, and this is from a different killer called the Nurse. And what this does essentially is this will reveal to me survivors within a 24-meter range who are either healing someone or being healed. And by reveal, it means I can see them through the walls, because we're playing a 4v1 here, so we're just one killer. We can't chase 4 survivors all at once. We can't even keep track of 4 survivors all at once. There are always, on every map, a lot of walls, a lot of trees, a lot of line of sight blockers, a lot of things for these survivors to hide behind. And so being able to use perks that allow us to get some more intel on where they might be is something that I personally find really helpful. And so this is why I like this perk in particular. And again, this other perk, Spies from the Shadows, again, it does something quite similar. It's giving me intel on where the survivors might be. Now, on every map there are crows, and when we move past the crows, they will fly into the air. But what this perk does is, when a survivor makes a crow fly into the air, it will highlight that crow if it's within 36 meters of me. And it will say, hey, there's a survivor just went past this crow here. I don't get a direction that they're moving in, but I know over there is a survivor. If I'm close enough, I can investigate. And even if I'm not close enough, I get some idea of where they might be, or where they might be going, or what they might be up to. And personally, I find that to be really helpful. The one on the right here is called Sloppy Butcher. And essentially this just makes it so that once I hit a survivor, some effects are applied to them. Those effects being called Mangled and Hemorrhage. Mangled just makes them take longer to heal. Hemorrhage just makes them bleed more. And we can see the blood on the ground in order to track the survivors. Now it's not the only clue that we get in the environment as to where the survivors might be. Anytime survivors move quickly, they also leave something on the ground called scratch marks. And we'll see that when we jump into a game. Very easy to see, very easy to follow most of the time. Although it's not exactly a homing missile system, it's almost like that. And I've been talking a lot, so my voice is getting a bit worn down. And the final perk I have here is called Hex No One Escapes Death. And there are a whole bunch of hex perks. And essentially they work by using these totems that are on the map. And each map has, I think, 4 totems. And they do all kinds of interesting things. This one is quite specific. It has a specific condition, which is that once the exit gates are powered, I get this benefit. Now what the survivors have to do is they have to go around the map and they have to repair generators. After they repair 5 generators, they will be able to activate the gates and escape. And essentially that's their job. That's what they do to win. Now the game doesn't exactly have a win or loss condition. Just by playing the game, you will get blood points, which is here. This is the main currency that we use on the blood web to buy our add-ons, our offerings, our perks, and so on and so forth like that, and to level up our character. So no matter what we do, just by playing the game, we get points. So as a killer, just by spotting a survivor, you get blood points. By chasing them, blood points. By hitting them, blood points. By using your ability, blood points. By killing them, blood points, and so on like this. So we don't have to kill all the survivors to get something from the match. And this is something that actually I really like about Dead by Daylight. This is a nice system, I think. And so killing the survivors is not as easy as just going up to them and hitting them. I mean, you would think somebody shoots you with a harpoon gun, you've got a pretty good chance of dying, right? But you know, it's still a game. So essentially, the way it works is survivors have 2 health states. What I mean by that is you hit the survivor once and they are injured. You hit them again and they fall down onto the ground. They can't get up. And they are in what is called a dying state. Once they are in the dying state, you can walk over to them, pick them up, put them on your shoulder, and then you walk over to these conveniently placed meat hooks that are around the map, and you put them onto the meat hook. Pretty brutal. Once you do that, they are stuck. They can't get off it unless they get very lucky. But if another survivor comes along, the other survivor can lift them off the hook. Now if you put the same survivor onto a hook 3 times, they die. And that's how you kill the survivors in most cases, barring exceptions. That's how we do it. And so what we want to do is essentially that. But at the same time, if we are only trying to kill 1 survivor, and just to kill this 1 survivor, then that will be another 3 survivors who are running free around the map, repairing generators. And once they repair 5, they can open the gate and they can escape. And so we don't want them to do that. And so as the killer, we kind of have to balance this thing of trying to kill the survivors, but also not focusing all our attention just on one survivor, and also making sure that we, let's say, patrol around the map, go to where the different generators are, because as the killer we can see where the generators are at all times. They are highlighted through obstacles in red. So we can go to all the generators at any time, and we want to try and interrupt the survivors from finishing repairing them. Now, like I said before, there are 4 survivors and only 1 of you, so if the survivors are good, they're still going to repair the generators, whether you are doing everything you can anyway. And this is generally how we can tell, whether we are playing against experienced survivors or not. If you are running and chasing one person and suddenly one generator has been repaired and then another generator has been repaired, you can probably guess then, after it's only been 1 or 2 minutes, that probably you're playing against pretty experienced players with high-level characters with good perks and good items and what have you, and you're going to have a tough time. If the players, if the survivors know the map well, if they have perks that let them see where obstacles are, because survivors get these obstacles around the map to help them escape from you. They get wooden pallets that they can pull down, which they can jump over, and you cannot. You can only break, which takes some time, allowing them to escape. And there are windows that they can jump through, which they can jump through quite quickly, but you can only jump through quite slowly. Now, in general, you do move a little bit faster than the survivors. So if you keep chasing them in an open area, you will catch them. But if they can utilize these obstacles well, these pallets, these windows they can jump through and so on and so forth, then you're going to have a really hard time. And it can take a lot of time to do that, to catch a survivor who's good at that. And what happens is, at the higher levels of play, is some survivors, they specifically take perks that allow them to be chased, that allow them to get away from you very well. And they in some ways offer themselves to you. They try to taunt you. They try to put themselves in your view so that you will chase them. And while you are chasing them, then the other survivors who have taken perks that are good for repairing or for things like that are repairing their generators, and they're doing it very quickly. So we get, this is the, let's say, the meta of the game. So the survivors can specialize in certain ways. If they're good at the game, if they're experienced, they will do that. So we as a killer have to try not to just tunnel vision on one person and think about whether we can catch a person or not, or whether it's worth giving up chasing a person to make sure we can interrupt repair on other generators. And this is essentially, how we play the game. So let's just jump into a game here. Let me just press ready. And then I'll be able to demonstrate actually in the game, how it looks, what things look like, and as I play, explain what I'm doing. Okay, so on the screen we get to see the survivors that we'll be playing against. And what I think is interesting about this is that we can see the survivors, we can see what items they will bring, but they don't know which killer they will be against. This is like a one-way mirror. So we see 2 of these survivors are bringing flashlights, which they can use to blind us. So if they manage to do that, we won't be able to see for a few seconds, and they'll be able to escape. They'll get some points for that. But most importantly, if we are carrying a survivor that we have downed and trying to put onto a hook, and they blind us with a flashlight, we will then drop the survivor, which is a problem. So watching out for these flashlights is important, and there are some ways to kind of counter this. And to do that, we would just try to look in a different direction, look at the floor, look to the side, while still trying to move towards them. But sometimes we are in the middle of an action and we can't do that. If we are breaking a pallet, if we are trying to put a survivor on a hook or trying to pick up a survivor, we are stuck in this animation and we can't change where we are facing, in which case then that is when the survivors are best suited for using these flashlights. And so these flashlights are really quite effective if used well, quite frustrating as the killer, but that's part of the game. So at the start here, what we want to do is, because the survivors will spawn far away from us, and they want to repair generators, and we can see where all the generators are, we look for where the generators are far away from us, and we go there looking for the survivors. So there won't be survivors here, but let's go off to the left and then we'll curve around to the right. And we'll see if we can find any survivors. So let's go through here. And this is a generator here, highlighted in red. And there's nobody here. We move on to the next one here and then into the building in the middle. We can listen for the generator. Bad aim by me. That's on me. Could have got a good shot there. Here is one survivor trying to crouch. And we can run faster than her. If she just goes around in a circle here, we do get the hit. So I can choose now to stay here and protect that generator, or try and chase this girl. Now she has got a little bit of a head start, and we'll see if we can't catch up soon. That is one generator already finished, that little clink. So at least one of the I think probably the two other survivors were there trying to repair that one. Here's another one. So they came back to try and finish this generator, and these red marks are the scratches telling me that she's just running in circles around here. So I'm following her, trying to chase her, and she's gone back that way. Oh, she was good. She knew what she was doing. Okay, we got a hit before she got the pallet down. We can destroy this pallet. Now if I just keep chasing this one girl here, the other two survivors off wherever they are going to be trying to finish probably this generator here, which we see is ticking away, makes a sound once they start repairing it. We catch sight of this guy here. He runs back inside the house again. And this is my perk showing me where this girl is, allowing me to come over to wherever she is. And she's trying to run away. I get the hit just before she manages to pull the pallet down. So I can pick her up. And now I'm going to get flashlighted. I look away. This is a meat hook that I can use. I can put her on the meat hook. Just like that. Beautiful. And I get points for that. So I'm not going to stand here looking at her. I want to make sure that the other generators are not being worked on for free. We see these red scratch marks means that a guy was working on them, and they already took the girl down from the hook. And we see them there running off into the distance. So because there's two of them, I can try to chase. And here's the same girl again. Just missed with the gun there. That was unfortunate. And we get the second knockdown, which is unfortunate for her. The girl with the flashlight is back again. Almost blinded me. Stuck in that animation of picking up. I take her back over to the hook here. Now the survivors do struggle as you carry them. And if you take too long carrying them to the hook, then they will break free, which is a problem. I see there's another one over here. We can kick these or damage the generators, which will reduce how quickly they are fixed. There's someone. Oh, that was a great dodge. It's like they have superhuman reflexes. Okay, it's okay, we'll chase this way. Good, got a hit on this guy. He's bleeding now, running away. That was the sound of another generator being fixed behind me. As I go this way, he'll probably run out this door here. Yep, he pulls down the pallet. Jumps out the window. So, again, I have to balance here. Do I keep chasing this guy? What do I think my odds of chasing this guy are? And do I think I can do it? Oh, he dodged me there. That was a great dodge by him. Fantastic. These fresh red marks tell me there's another survivor right here. Now, when survivors are experienced with the killer you play, they know what your power is, and they know what you're generally going to try and do. So playing as the gunslinger, I want to try and use my gun like this. But they know that, and when they are running away, they will dodge side to side, so that when I do shoot, there's a chance of me missing. I could see this guy because of my perk. Fortunately, that girl still hasn't managed to blind me. Hope I can make it to this hook before he breaks free. There we go. We'll hang him up here. Beautiful. So this is how we stop them from getting too much done. Okay, this one is still... We see by the sparks here that this one still hasn't been fixed again. So we look around now for the other generators. That one just got finished. They only need to finish one more. We see them there in the distance, and there we go, they unhooked. So there's one generator in the building there, and two over here. So this is the problem of the 4v2. So she just got in this closet here. I can pick her up as she gets out, and now I'm going to go hang her on a hook somewhere. Just need to reach it in time. Fortunately, I don't see any nearby hooks, so I think she's actually going to escape before I can get there, but it's okay. It's a good demonstration of what happens. There we go. Now she gets off, she runs away. We can chase again. There she is. She doesn't necessarily have to get away. There we go. And we'll pick her up again. And we'll take her to a hook. Hopefully this time we will reach the hook. It's a bit closer. But as they struggle, they just have to tap A and D to struggle. This will affect your movement. There we go, she's on a hook. That was a crow telling me that there's someone around here. There's the girl. See if we can catch her. She's probably trying to distract me from away from this girl so they can rescue her. So we have to, we have to watch out for what they're trying to do here. You see, both of them. One runs around the side, one is up on top of the hill. So I chase up on top of the hill. They run towards the girl on the hook, like this. But I managed to hook the guy as he's taking her off. And I miss my attack there, which is unfortunate. I am close enough now, I think, to get a free hit on him anyway. Just like that. We'll keep chasing. If I reloaded here, he would get quite far away from me. But I think if I just keep chasing here, I should be able to get another hit. Oh, he has the... That's one of the special perks that lets you run away. Ooh, good shot. Good shot. Now we get to hit her too. And actually, I think I can catch her now. Unless she also has the sprinting perk, which she does. Oof. She did a good dodge there, I have to say. Sometimes they'll often change their direction very quickly, right? Just like that. I don't think there's any hooks around here for me to take her to. None nearby, anyway. Oh, there's hooks in the basement, of course. There's a basement right here. This is a wonderful place to hook people. This is a special killer place. And the reason this is so good is because there's only one way in. So it's very easy to see people coming here. It's very easy to stop them from getting in. But for each of these things I do, for the hooking, for the catching, for the chasing, for the damaging, the generators, I'm getting killer points. I'm getting blood points for these things. So it's not like we have to kill everyone and be this totally badass player to enjoy the game. So I'm just looking over here. That generator isn't being worked on. Probably the one in the house is. But what I'd like to do here is if we get someone in the basement and we get them hooked in the basement, then anyone that comes to rescue them is pretty much a target like this. So once that's done, there we go. She gets knocked down again, and we got a free hit on the other girl too. We can just carry her back to the basement now. So it's like we run away a little bit, and that's the survivor's, idea then. Okay, we can save our friend. But if you run away a little bit, and then just double back, you can catch them right after they unhook. And in this case, I got another hit and another hook. And this is just more points for me. So this is now about 5 or 6 hooks I've done so far. They are working on that generator over there, so I'll just go over and disrupt them. The guy just ran past me here. See if I can catch him. There he is. So he wants me to chase him. You see, he's waiting there for me to chase him. That's what he wants. So he's doing a please chase me kind of thing here. Oh. And I managed to get him right around this obstacle, which is fortunate. Got a hit. Nice thing about this gun is you can hit people over obstacles. I don't often expect it. Now I can pick him up. Come here. Don't crawl away. This is him in the dying state when he's on the ground. Let's find a hook. There's one right over here. So now the survivors have done all the generators, and they have unlocked the gate. The gate is open. Once it's open, we get this bar at the top. So he's in his second hook state now. He gets these spider claws coming onto him. And the survivors have a choice now. They can just leave if they want and survive, or they can try to rescue their friend. I'd prefer if they try to rescue their friend because I would probably get another hit. That there tells me that there's a survivor over there. There she is. So they're trying to distract me. I'll go over here. Another one will go to take off the hook. There's somebody behind me with the flashlight. And we get a nice hit on her. Oh, ho, 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 good. Now we get to knock her down. So we avoid looking at the flashlight. We look at the ground, we look to the sides, but we can still move towards the survivor while doing that. So let's see if I can go and put her on the hook over here on the hill. Maybe I'll make it, maybe not. It's a bit far. We'll see. Oh, just in time. So there we go. She's hooked on this hill now, which is a difficult place to get to because you only go up this ramp here. So we'll see if her friends come to try and save her now. They've all been hooked at least once, I think. Some of them have been hooked twice. So if I manage to catch them again and hook them, then they will die. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. There's a guy in the distance. There's 2 of them. Yeah, and so I'm going to look like I'm chasing him, and I'm going to turn to the left here. Just missed her. It's okay, I can still catch up. Get an extra hit there. But I think they're probably going to escape now. I don't think I can catch up to them quite yet. So GG to these survivors. But even with all 4 escaping, I did get a lot of them onto hooks. And so I probably got a pretty reasonable amount of points for this game. 23,000. So the maximum we can get in these 4 categories, let me just go back, is 8,000 points. So this is, in Hunter I got maximum, in Brutality and Sacrifice pretty good, and just in Deviousness it was a bit low. And then we get these grades for each of the different things. So for Chaser I got a gold rating. And so this is for hitting survivors and for winning chases. So when we chase them, if the survivor gets away, then that's counted as the survivor winning the chase. And if we manage to catch up to them and hit them, then that's considered as the killer winning the chase, which is what this thing is talking about when it says chase is won. And if we spend too much time around a survivor that is on a hook, we actually get this negative points, -3, for spending too much time around them. So, the game kind of wants to incentivize you to not spend so much time around hooked survivors. This one, Devout, this is about sacrificing and killing. Now, I did say, it says here, I did manage to hook all of the survivors, but I didn't actually manage to kill any of them, unfortunately. All of them were on the hook, some of them multiple times, but none of them 3 times. Gatekeeper here is about interrupting them working on the generators, and I think it's also affected by how long the game goes on. So I got a silver rating, and it's almost a gold rating, and that's for generated defense. And then the last one here is for interrupting them or downing them. So if they're healing themselves and you can interrupt that action, then you get points for doing that. If they are healing someone else and you interrupt it, you get points for that. You also get points just for hurting them. So we see here injuries inflicted and for the hook states, and then when they healed themselves, I actually lose points from that when they escape my grasp. Such as when I couldn't quite make it to that one hook and I had to let her go or she broke free, then also I lose points for that. So that's why when we pick up a survivor, we want to, as quickly as possible, try to locate a nearby hook and take the survivor to that hook. And most of the time they are highlighted in red, but sometimes if they are very close to you, they won't be highlighted, and they can blend into the environment sometimes, and you just can't see them, and so that can be a bit of a problem sometimes, but that's the nature of the game. And so for these points I got, for these grades that I got, the game determines whether you increase in grade or decrease in grade or remains the same. For this one, my points dictate that I remain at the same level, no increase and no decrease. We get points for our player level, or XP, and every time we level up we get these iridescent shards. We can actually use those to buy DLC characters. Not all of them, but a good amount of them can be bought for 9,000, which I think is a pretty nice touch. You can buy the DLC characters with real money, but if you just play the game, you can actually do it yourself. And then on the final screen we get the scoreboard. So we get to see the 4 survivors. We get to see what perks they brought, what items they brought, how many points they got, and they can see me too. So all of these survivors had 4 very rare perks, which tells me they are quite experienced, probably quite good at the game. I thought they played pretty well. They all escaped, even if I did manage to hook them plenty of times. And when we look at the perks, we can even see, do they have perks from multiple different characters? Again, which will mean that they leveled up this character to at least level 30, unlocked the Teachable perk, and then leveled up another character and gained that perk randomly from the Blood Web as well. And you have to gain the perk or buy the perk on the Blood Web at least 3 times to get it up to very rarity. When you first get it, it's uncommon, then you buy it again, it's rare, and the 3rd time you buy it, it becomes very rare. So my Nurse's Calling perk is at rare, whereas my Spies from the Shadows perk is at very rare. So these survivors are all very experienced with different perks from many different characters, all leveled up to very rare. And then we can see they played pretty well. They were pretty good at evading. Um, they knew how to use the flashlight. They repaired the generators pretty quick, and in the end, they did all escape. But overall, I would say that was a good game on both sides. All of us got a pretty good amount of blood points. I got 23,000, 20, 24, 26, 28. Everybody has a good time, you know? So I'm up to 300,000 blood points now. And we can spend these however we want, you know? We get this general resource, blood points, but just because I earn it with the Death Slinger doesn't mean I have to spend it on the blood web of the Death Slinger. I can go to a different killer. So for example, I should be able to click on the arrows here. If I go to the pig, I can spend these blood points on her blood web instead. And so what we can do is we can just play our favorite character, and we can spend our blood points on any of the other characters to, level up the blood webs and find those teachable perks without actually ever playing them if we don't want to, if we don't like that character, but we just want their perks. And so the final thing I will show here is what the teachable perks look like. And so on the blood web is orange. It says here teachable. I didn't actually buy this one because I didn't want it, but this is what it looks like. If I had bought it, then it would become randomly available in the blood webs of any of the other killers, every time I refresh their blood web and level them up. So that's it. That's the blood points, the leveling up, the general way we play the killer in Dead by Daylight, trying to stop the survivors from repairing the generators, trying to catch them. Those mind games, going around obstacles, is another thing we have to learn, because the killer has this. When you play as a survivor, the killer has this red kind of beam of light coming from wherever it's facing, and the survivors use this to predict which way you're coming or going. And so going around these obstacles, you see sometimes there's this back and forth of trying to guess and double guess which way they're gonna go. Sometimes when you're chasing, survivors might double back suddenly right behind you just as you reach them. Lots of different little tricks we can learn while playing the game. But the general idea is, the generators, the stopping the repairs, the chasing, but not only tunnel visioning, not only wanting to kill one person, because if we allow the other survivors to just repair, they will do it very quickly and they will escape very quickly, and then you have less time with which to damage them and hook them and kill them, and so you get less points. So that's going to be it from me for this video. I hope that was a nice basic explanation for how we play the game as a killer, at least. And I hope that helps you with playing it yourself. So from me, that's bye for now. And thanks for coming, and come back next time.